Okay, 6.5 on our agenda, Henderson Highway safety concerns, and I think 4 of the letters were in our packages. The 5th one was added because I just got one yesterday, so I'm going to turn it over to Deepak to walk us through this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we've been made aware that near the 8,000 block of Henderson Highway North, there was a very serious accident. 2 young people died in that accident. It's right at the S curve on Henderson Highway. And this area, and I think this has further exasperated the situation with the local residents there who have seen numerous accidents and are feeling that this area is very unsafe, and they've addressed it for our concerns. We received several letters, at least 4 letters from local residents, along with several discussions. I know that the mayor and some individuals have talked to the local residents in the area, and so there was a request for various things to do in order to resolve the situation. Anything from putting lights up there to putting in some sort of barriers, reducing the speed, to widening the area, widening the road area. And so we felt the best solution, so we had contacted Manitoba Highways. And in talking with Manitoba Highways, we also looked at what can we do to also encourage people and get some data as well as part of this. And part of that, receiving that information from Manitoba Highways, is that we do have a speed radar sign that we're looking at. We're utilizing it right now on Ludwig, and we can look at moving it here. And but because this is a provincial highway, we have to get approval from the highways in order where it is, and it doesn't create any other additional safety concerns through distraction of looking at a sign. And so highways have said that they are more than willing to accommodate our need to put the sign up. So what we are looking at is a resolution to bring forward, which would be not only putting up a sign to remind people what their speeds are, because there's a lot of speeding going on along that area. Number 2 is to then also ask for provincial review of that area for safety and take into consideration lights, anything else that deals with safety concerns related with that location of the highway. And so that's what we're bringing forward for council today. And what we did was Highways told us that they will process the installation in order for us to put the speed radar boards on a provincial road. There are 2 policies for the process. The council resolution is required, identifying the location that the RM would like to install them, and then they would also need work with us to look at a distance reference to show exactly where that would be. And then a signed indemnification form will be required as well to protect the province from the radar sign, so that if somebody crashes into it, that the province is also protected, similar to the municipalities, on the municipality's insurance. So those are the 2 things that will be required as part of this. So what we have created is a resolution.
Before you go there,
No, go ahead.
No, I have a question
Okay.
too. I would like you to pull up the map, please.
Certainly.
I just read part of the resolution and it didn't quite make sense. I have to look at the map. It's in the vicinity of 8212 Henderson Highway.
Yeah. Here you go, Madam Mayor.
Okay, what is, I can't see the crossroad there. Okay, there's Henderson Highway.
What?
Sorry. 212 Henderson Highway. So that's,
No further yet.
Yes.
there's the S curve.
Can you just go a little bit more? Okay, looking forward.
of Moet.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because in my mind it was south of Moet, so I just wanted to make sure that it read right. Okay, Scott, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I don't have any concerns with moving forward. I am a little bit perturbed with the amount of paperwork with Department of Highways to ensure people's safety, but I guess that's the way life is. And I think we should look at this resolution and passing it. And secondly, I think we should be taking a look at buying another radar sign. Because we're already getting concerns on Henderson Highway because they fixed it now. And even during construction, there were no passing signs. People were flying by people, and it's another place that's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, and the other, oh, go ahead, Councilor Sutherland, sorry.
And to add on to that, we should be using the sign we have now. I know it requires some work from, public work, but it should be utilized all over the place a week or however they want to keep it and move it to another spot. That was our intent. And yeah, buying another one or two would be a good idea. Because this one, putting the sign up here where the accident was,
Right.
it's only going to be temporary, I think.
Well, it's to gain the data, right? Is that the intent?
Part of it, probably, yes.
The sign also allows you to gain data. It's not a speed sign where it takes photo radar or anything.
No.
But it does gain data as to the kind of speed people are doing along there and when they're being to slow down, how often, all those things.
People do pay attention to those signs, but when they're gone, they'll eventually go back to, it's just human nature. But I don't know, like, what kind of lighting do we have on that corner? Is it something we could?
None.
There's none, there's none.
Like,
We
I'm
would then,
concerned about how long it's gonna take highways to get back to us on this, what their recommendation would be. Some tells me it's 6 months or a year from now, probably.
Well,
Well,
I would hope that it wouldn't be that long, and I think Tyler has discussed this with Highways, because I see there's a long letter here, so.
well,
And I
okay.
think I would hope that the province realizes that there is some history and also some attention needed sooner rather than later.
Like, yeah, I think there's no solution to everything, because the speed limit right there is 70. That's what I've been reading Danny's letter there. But this is just me, like a flashing amber light at either end that's there all the time. It might be, it could be a solution. It's going to get somebody's attention, that flashing amber light at either end.
Well,
Because the reduction is the 70 kilometers doing it. People, they got, it's too bad it happened. And there's been quite a few accidents or whatever. And again, that would be highways, right? We couldn't put a flashing amber at either end. I think would.
You could do that with solar too, right? You wouldn't have to run power.
okay, Councilor Belanger, go ahead.
My sense is that the residents that I've talked to are looking for more of a permanent solution. So yes, the speed limit is 70 there. What is the permanent solution? Is it a flashing light? Is it a sign at each end saying beware, sharp curve ahead? Something more permanent that's whatever in the ground, whether it be a sign. That's what I think and I don't know the answer, but I think they're looking for more of a permanent solution.
Yes.
The radar thing is fine for the interim to gain data,
Yeah.
but if it pulls up and goes, they're gonna go, well, what did you do? I don't know if there's an answer, but it's gotta be something more permanent.
Well, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure that Tyler is working on this, and I know that there were, when I was speaking with Deepak, there were a couple of things that were tossed around, and maybe it is amber lights at both ends flashing, reducing the speed. I guess whatever council would like to see done there, we still need to have the blessing of Manitoba Infrastructure. So this to me is kind of the first step. If they let us put these lights, then we can look at other options of what we can do there.
I think what I think, and I agree with you, is whatever we decide we're gonna do, either it's in the interim or whatever, we give highways a letter saying, laying out our plan. This is what we're gonna do. Here's the concern. People have died there over the years. This is what we're gonna do in the interim, and in the same letter, this is what we wanna do long-term. So highways can look at one letter and see what we wanna do both interim and long-term, and give it the blessing
Right.
by saying, go ahead, we like your plan. It's a plan. You're giving them a plan on what we wanna do there.
Yeah.
So if I could, Madam Mayor,
I was
the
gonna be
resolution
last,
is,
but go ahead.
the resolution is written to address that specifically.
Yeah.
So if I could read the resolution, then we can discuss that a little bit further as to what some of the reasoning behind how it was written. Whereas there has been many accidents and recent fatalities on Henderson Highway North of Wolf Road, and whereas residents have brought forth safety concerns regarding the curve off of Henderson Highway North of Mowat Road. Therefore, council requests the province of Manitoba to review the safety concerns and implement safety measures such as, but not limited to, street light installations, relocation of speed radar device, and shoulder widening and paving. All those things we leave up to the province of Manitoba. The important thing is, we have been informed by our own residents, who have now started also sharing the number of accidents occurring on this road that are not always recorded by the RM. And so now that we're aware, we made the province of Manitoba aware. The province of Manitoba is made aware, so now a level of responsibility is sitting with them to be able to now react. And so what we're telling them, and so there could be many situations where that's why we said, but not limited to any one of these items, they could be putting up those candlesticks to start slowing traffic down in the dark. Because maybe lights isn't the best solution, because you put lights over here and you don't put lights anywhere else, does it solve the problem? Flashing lights have their own distraction. I'm saying, let the engineers at Highway and Transportation figure something out and report back to us. In the meantime, that doesn't stop us for asking for the speed sign installation and utilizing that to put further requests to the province once we get that information. But the important thing is that council has acted on the requests of residents that we received.
Yeah, the only thing that I was going to chime in with, and I think that's great, because it's asking the province for their input and what they see as the best fit. But I'm wondering if perhaps we shouldn't, if they could provide that information from the RCMP as to how many accidents, I'm not saying fatalities, I'm just accidents that have occurred over the last 5 years in that vicinity.
I'll get Tyler to see if he can get that information shared with the province. I'm sure they have access to it.
I'm sure they do, but it's just a matter of if there was, because one of the people I spoke to, like, this happened, and 2 days later, there was a motorcycle accident there, and the neighbor had to phone the ambulance to come and,
Again,
2 days after.
same location.
Yep. So, it's a bad, and I don't know whether it's people not paying attention to how fast they're going or what it is. All I know is that the concerns from the area residents are getting to be more and more, because it seems to be happening more often. So I think it's up to us to get after the province and let them decide what they would like to do to make that corner safer, or that stretch of road safer. So I think you read the resolution, but I don't think we passed it.
No, we haven't.
Hi, Shane Lee.
That's okay. So, you read the resolution?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I don't have a mover or a seconder, though, do I? Okay, we read the resolution, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Spicer, further discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried.
Madam Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the lease agreement. We've made a copy available that's with the East Selkirk Early Learning Center lease agreement. They've signed the lease agreement with the RM. That lease agreement has now been shared with the province of Manitoba. And so what this lease agreement does is it gives the ability for the East Selkirk Recreation Center, it identifies what their early learning center, their requirements are, what our responsibilities are as to the maintenance of the building, maintenance of the lands and so forth. And with this signed lease agreement, they can receive their startup funding that they need in order to acquire furniture and all those pieces of equipment. I was informed by East Selkirk Early Learning Center that one of their biggest challenges right now is filling the positions, and I'll be giving you an update on that later. But they are moving forward, and I understand that they're doing a walkthrough today on the site itself, and we're expecting it to be complete by September, by the end of the month.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So is this standard for wording for all of them, or is there variances between?
This is the standard wording that we use for all of them. There might be some slight variations between them. We worked together, all 7 municipalities, to come up with a standard agreement, which was then used to maybe do some slight tweaking depending on the circumstances in that municipality.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you have a resolution that you would like to bring forward?
Resolved that the Arm of St. Clements approve the lease agreement dated August 14th with the East Selkirk Early Learning Center for the purpose of opening a licensed daycare at the premises located at 697 Quarry Road as presented, and the mayor and CAO be authorized to sign and seal the same.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Bazarowick seconds. Any further discussion?
Just one additional comment, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
The mayor and I, just for council's information and to be recorded, is that we did sign it earlier in order to get the approval to the province of Manitoba as soon as possible.
Awesome.
So you have a mover, have a seconder. Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a request for a proclamation for the CN rail safety. This is identifying rail safety as an important issue. Every year more than 2,100 North Americans are killed or seriously injured because of unsafe behavior around tracks and trains. And so this is a resolution that they are asking us to pass on behalf of CN. And so we prepared the resolution, it's a long resolution, so why don't I just read the resolution?
Sure.
We can have a discussion. Whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 18th to 24, 2023, and whereas 232 railway crossings and trespassing accident incidents occurred in Canada in 2022, resulting in 66 avoidable fatalities and 43 avoidable serious injuries. And whereas education and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railway, right-of-ways, and private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with the highways, rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness, and whereas CN has requested Council adopt a resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness save lives and prevent injuries in communities, including our municipality. Therefore, be it resolved, council support the National Rail Safety Week to be held from September 18th to 24th, 2023.
Mover, please. Counselor Sutherland, second. Counselor Bazarowicz, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried.
So the next resolution, Madam Mayor, is something that was approved electronically. We'll bring it to council for information
Yep.
as to the process. So whereas Bob and Shauna Whitcomb made a request for a noise extension, which is regulated under bylaw 6 for the purposes of an outdoor event that was held last weekend. And whereas under section 5 of bylaw 7, council through electronic vote on August 16, 2023 permitted the outdoor playing of music and other party-related activities 3 hours past 11 p.m. at 353 Diego Road on Saturday, August 19, 2023. Therefore, be it resolved, council ratify that permitting outdoor playing music and other party-related activities for 3 hours past 11 p.m. at 353 Diego Road, which was held on Saturday, August 19, 2023. They had provided a list of support from from their residents and their neighbors, as well as they were informed that they needed to do the permitting. We did this as an electronic vote. It was moved by Councilor Bazarowicz, seconded by Councilor Spicer, and it was unanimously supported.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, the next item is the upgrade to green space. So what we have is a request from, because it is on municipal lands, and this is a request for upgrading the green space located at Ewart Street, which is the Taxpayers Association are looking at doing some additional work. They're not asking for any funding. They have the funding in place, but they want to put in a volleyball court in that area, and they'll be putting in sand and so forth as part of that, and they will be covering all costs as well as labor to do this. And so what they're just looking for council to authorize them to do the volleyball court and also install a new communications board on the site itself. And we brought this forward for council's approval. There's no concerns from the administration. They're doing all this with their own funds, not requesting for any other support other than being able to do this on municipal land.
Questions, comments? Go ahead, Councilor Spicer.
Okay, so this is a bulletin board, right? That's what we're talking about here?
Yes,
No permits required, correct?
correct.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so we have a resolution for this coming forward. Resolved that Gull Lake Ratepayers Association be authorized to undertake planning efforts to develop a volleyball court and communication board on green space owned by the municipality known as Roll 647550 and legally described as Lot 2, Plan 31515. Further be it resolved, Gull Ratepayers Association be responsible for all costs and maintenance associated with volleyball court and communication board. Further be it resolved, Gull Lake Ratepayers Association obtain any permits from Red River Planning District if required.
Question. Call for the mover first. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Spicer, second. Councilor Sutherland. Go ahead, Councilor Horgus.
So if this is Gully Ratepayers Association putting all this in that, if you're not a member of Gully Ratepayers Association, does that mean you can't use the volleyball court?
No, you are allowed to use it. I had that discussion with the current and past president, and this is a community amenity that they allow anyone to
So
use. Anyone in the RM,
In the RM?
or anyone visiting.
Yeah, like if you're driving over from Winnipeg and you know there's a volleyball court there and you want to stop here, you can go and use it?
They might have registration, like booking times and so forth, to
Yeah.
make sure there's no
I
conflict.
just wanted-
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I just have one, just very brief, very minor. The first line of the resolution, should we put the word beach volleyball? Because that's what they've asked for in their letter.
Sure, develop a beach volleyball.
Right, rather than just volleyball, because volleyball could be a hard surface court, whereas beach volleyball is sand. The way I'm
Sure,
looking at it.
sure.
So, okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder. If there's nothing further, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. As you know, the next item on the agenda, there's been some discussions on this in the past. We have a presentation from our recreation staff, and with that, we also had a presentation from the providers of these food waste diversion program and these food recyclers. Since then, the RM went out and utilizing their website, were able to go out and canvass interest in the community. And the intent was to see how many people would be interested in something like this. These devices where they would convert food waste into basically organic material that can be placed back into gardens, flower pots, and so forth, and utilizing very little energy. These food cycler were put up available on a website with a survey, and we received an interest from over 100 individuals within the first week of putting it out there. In discussions with council, what we're looking at is making it available for 200 units, 100 smaller and 100 larger, or depending on, it could be 150 and 50 depending on the usage requests. But that would mean that the RM would support it with $100 towards the delivery of these products from Food Cycle Sciences for our municipal food waste diversion program. We're anticipating the cost to be around $22,800, and this is consistent to the program that's already been offered in St. Andrews and East St. Paul and West St. Paul.
So
Up
question.
to 200.
Up to 200 units.
Go ahead, Councilor Palacio.
So we purchase them, and do we sell them to our residents, or do we give them to
You
them?
know, the resident would sign up for it, then when they go to purchase it, they will get a $100 discount from the municipal price that's been quoted by the supplier. And they're working with Canada-wide to be able to make this available for food diversion. Then they would send us a bill for all the ones that were purchased from them for the remainder of $100. And then we would pay that. And of course, verify that those are purchased. Part of this is a commitment on the part of people that are using them, that get this for this discounted price, is that they must also participate in the program to monitor food usage and how these pieces of equipment are working, and are we really accomplishing the diversion of food waste from our landfill sites.
So it costs us $22,000, and that's the number we're putting out. We don't recoup any of that, right?
No,
Okay.
No, that part we don't.
we would recoup it indirectly through savings in our landfill site.
Go ahead, Councilor Vazzarowicz.
Any idea on delivery dates?
Once we pass this on, I think it should be able to be within weeks. I'm thinking they're all ready to go.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Councilor Horbis.
What if you're a renter and you rent from somebody in the RM?
Then the property owner can buy it and then make the deal with the renter. But it's one per property.
And I think we did talk about this, but what about if you have a property that has two residences? Like a main residence and a granny suite?
We did, and they said that they were comfortable in accommodating that, but they would need some level of verification that there are. They don't want just all of them going into one household as much as possible.
Right.
The idea of this pilot program is to spread it out as much as possible and collect the necessary data. And so they said that they were flexible enough. There was another resident on that, and it was a separate residence.
Right.
If somebody was living in the basement and having their child or their grandmother living down there, it's not a separate residence, and they prefer that to be seen as one residence.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Boulanger.
Just a final question, and I'm just wondering, just to be quick on it. It says it'll divert 40 tons of food waste and save the municipality an estimated 14,000 in costs. Where'd that data come from?
The guy who's selling them.
That's over the lifetime of the machine.
Correct.
But like, to say that it's gonna save the RM 40K, I mean,
That's from the analysis, they've already rolled these machines out elsewhere,
okay,
and they've done the analysis, how much food waste is being utilized, how much is being diverted. And so based on that, if you looked at it and you introduced so many of them in your population, this is the kind of money you'd be saving.
okay.
So that's the whole principle about giving that level of commitment for the monitoring, because that data will then be provided back to the municipality to do its analysis, to see how successful this pilot program is.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I'll ask Deepak to bring the resolution forward.
Resolve council enter into a municipal food waste diversion pilot program agreement with Food Cycle Science with a payment of $22,800 plus applicable taxes, and the mayor and CA will be authorized to sign and seal same.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Borba, second. Councilor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
Okay, so Madam Mayor, we're going to go into in-camera to discuss a few internal items and internal issues, and then we'll come back after on camera to address the other issues.
Yeah, is Brenda going to come up
Yes.
now? Okay, perfect.
So, resolved, council recess the regular meeting and go in camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be a resolve that all matters discussed are to remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Bazarowicz, Councilor Borba, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
So I requested to bring this earlier, councillor, so that we can let her go home and pick up her children, and then we'll finish off the rest.
She's been putting in a lot of time there.
There was an invite that was sent to me